When you out there without care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul.
Wansa. Florence, that's my mother's name. Lawyer says, you're late again. I know. This is Simoson. Where anything happens. My apologies. Hello, everybody. A very beautiful Wednesday morning to you. Hope you're well. Hope you slept well last night and you're ready for a brand new day. Before we begin, I want to say, wherever you're from, watching me today, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, Southern Province, Western Province, Kumongo, Kwakasomo, Kuchinsali, Kutwapia, Kundola, wherever you are, the Maldives, the islands of the sea, Bogota, Colombia, Cape Town, South Africa, Melbourne, Australia, wherever you're watching me from, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. I should do that Tiloa Tuesday thing, Every time those young guys, they get together, they assemble and they do their Tiloa Tuesday special. I should be part of that. You know why? Because every so often I drop bars. Sometimes I drop them. I don't even know that I'm dropping them. Therefore, I am an eligible candidate to feature on the show Tiloa Tuesday. If you know those boys, and I do know them, please just put in a good word for me because I really would like to be part of that deal. Hello, everybody. Ella, Jeff, Sandy, hello to you. Thank you so much. Guys, just a few moments. I will not keep you long. There's something that's been burning on my heart. I have to share this with you only because, and I'm going to throw it up here, only because I think this is what I believe. I believe that when you see something, you say something. Tell me in the comments if you embrace that school of thought. Tell me if that resonates with your spirit somehow. Tell me if that gels with your school of thought. When you see something, you say something. And here it is. I want to tell you now that what is private is private. But what is public, because, coming over to work today, I was reading some of your comments as I prepared for this brief broadcast, and I'll only be 20 minutes. I might open the phone lines only because I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I noticed some of you kept on saying, but why must you involve yourself in other people's marriages? Again, what is private is private. If you keep something private, me, you, or anybody else has no right to begin to meddle in your private affairs. But the moment you begin to make it public, the moment you begin to post things about your private life on a public platform, then it's all fair game. Then anybody can comment. If you make it public, we will comment publicly. If you make it private, we will comment privately. Now, let me go back a bit, because for some of you that do not recall, you know that Chilufya Tayali and I'll get to Millie in a moment. Let me just first of all focus on this Chilufya Tayali. You know that him and I, over the years, we've had wrangles. We don't get along very much. He doesn't like me too much, and I don't like him much either. That's just a fact, okay? And there's nothing strange about that. You can't get along with everybody, and that's just life. You know, there's certain people that rub you the wrong way, and there's certain people that you don't have to be in their world, and they don't have to be in your world. There are people that don't have to be in your circumference, and there are people that you don't have to be in their circumference. So in that regard, we don't gel. But be that as it may, we do occupy cyberspace. And we do occupy the social media space as it regards Zambia. I remember a few years ago, I posted something. I said, I give Chilufya Tayali 2 years. I give his marriage 2 years, not because I hate him, not because I despise him, but because of misango. You know, here's a young man who gets married and makes a complete spectacle out of his marriage, makes a spectacle out of his wife. And then when we talk about it, some of you get upset. And I know the demographic that gets upset. I know you, I've sussed you out, I've got you picked. I know the ones that get upset are the ones that tolerate his foolishness and his nonsense. You're the ones that get upset. And so some few years ago, I said, well, I give him 2 years because of his antics, because of his behavior. No self-respecting woman is going to tolerate that type of nonsense, especially not on social media. Now, let me make it clear. Let me make it clear, guys. And I'm gonna just go ahead and put this out there. We're not talking about perfection, because I know some of you are going to start saying, but nobody's perfect. Even you, when you're there, where you are, you're not perfect. We're not talking about perfection. We're talking about taking responsibility for your home. We're talking about protecting your spouse. We're talking about you realizing that there's certain things you can say and there's certain things you can't say. We're talking about you stepping into the gap, standing in the gap of your home as a gatekeeper, someone that protects your home from anybody and from anywhere. Not a chap who carelessly talks about his home, a chap who carelessly talks about his sexual escapades, a chap who constantly talks about how it's this, that, and the other. And then when level-minded people talk about it, all of a sudden we become the bad guy. We're the bad guy all of a sudden. No. Today we're going to talk and we're going to be very brutal. Okay? So you remember, I said that I give him 2 years. Of course, 2 years went by. They were still together. She's now gone. Of course, I want marriages to succeed, just like I want my marriage to succeed. I don't want to see failed marriages. But I believe that there's certain things you can do to expedite your failed marriage. Ooh, there's a good one. Let me say that again. There's certain things that we do in our homes that can expedite the deterioration of the marriage. In other words, there are things that you do that make your marriage fail faster. And Tayali is adept at this. So anyway, so that passed. And now here it is. Tayali's wife has gone back. Now, keep in mind, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because he has publicly talked about this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't comment. Only comment if you know what I'm talking about, okay? So here it is. She's gone back to Ethiopia. Tayali's married to an Ethiopian lady who's a very lovely, amiable lady. It always shocks me that she's with. You ever see a couple and you think to yourself, how in the hell did he get that kind of girl? Or vice versa? Have you ever seen that? Ever look at two people and say, well, he doesn't deserve her, or she doesn't deserve him? Have you ever seen couples like that? Because those couples exist. It's like Robin Givens. Is that her name? Robin Givens and Mike Tyson, when they got married. That didn't make any sense. How in the hell did Mike Tyson ever hook Robin Givens? They just didn't gel. There are couples like that. And so whenever Tayali brought his Ethiopian wife, the whole world was aghast. Well, not the whole world. At least Kanyama was aghast. Okay, Kanyama stood up and said, what in the H-E double hockey sticks is going on here? Somebody explain this to me. But we gave it the benefit of a doubt. We thought, well, maybe she sees something that we don't see. Not his wife, Tayali. Not his wife, Tayali. Okay? So here it is. Now she's gone back, and this is where I have a problem. And this is the reason I've chosen to do this broadcast today. Over the last several weeks, Tayali's been, and this is a sick style of communication. I think this is his way of coping with it. Some of you regard it as joking, and you say it's funny and all, but no, there's a deep-rooted issue here. And I think that he does this to cope. Over the last couple of days, he's been hinting. He says, my wife's now gone. I'm alone here at home. But if there's anybody out there who wants to participate in some type of peace work, in other words, if you can step in the position that my wife was in so that, I'm not so lonely, come into my home, do some peace work. What he's saying there is that if there's anybody out there, if there's any female out there that's willing to have sex with him while his wife is away. Now, you see, some of you, you're so, I don't know, I don't know. Some of you will say, no, but Mr. Mwewe, he's just talking about peace work in the home. He's talking about, you know good and hell well that's not what he's talking about. You know what happens when you take a frog and you put it in a pot of lukewarm water sitting on a hot stove? Gradually, the temperature of the water is going to go higher and higher and higher, and eventually that frog is going to boil. Why? Because the frog has become desensitized. It's acclimated. Okay? But in the process of being acclimated or being desensitized, it dies. That's what happens to many of you on social media. When you constantly see foolishness, when you constantly see you become desensitized. Ooh, boy, that's a good one there. Latch on to that one. You begin to see that, you begin to think that which is abnormal becomes normal. You begin to say to yourself, oh, that's not so bad. But let me tell you, Tayali's antics, where he disrespects his wife and says, while his wife is away, ngamale for a peace work, bakashana, peace work chabe, mukese, tukabibomera po. Na imumwaseka. Ubupu bafi weka. And to add insult to injury, kwisarandati, so ndipanga ndedi embalala. Do you know what that means? I'm eating groundnuts. Do you know what that means? Let me just spell it out for you, because some of you know this. You, especially if you are a Zambian, you know what he means when he says, I'm sitting home alone. Now, keep in mind, this is a married man. This is a man that has grown children at home. Well, his kids don't live with him. They live with his first wife. Thank God. Okay? I'm going to be brutal today. Oh, I'm not pulling any punches. I'm not. It's you, his audience. Hey, hey. Not today, honey. Today, the gloves have come off. Today, we're stepping into the ring and we're going for blood. Today, we're going to tell the truth as it is. Today, we're going for the jugular. That's what we're doing. So here it is. Tayali says, my wife is left. I'm at home. I'm eating groundnuts. Do you know what that means? It means he's building, he's accumulating, he's gathering up, he's amalgamating, he's fortifying, he's increasing the level of his sperm count. Boom! There, I said it. I said it. And let me tell you why I said it, because that's exactly what he meant, and that's exactly what he said. Now, here's the thing. As a married man, what you're saying is, while my wife is away, I'm building up my sperm count so that when you come to my house to offer me a bit of piecework, I will not disappoint you. Nonsense. Nonsense. And I've got a theory. Tell me if you think this is off kilter. But I have a theory. I honestly do. I believe that Tayali does what he does because he knows that his wife can't speak and understand Bemba. That's what I believe. I believe he does that because he knows that his wife doesn't understand the language, so he can talk that nonsense. But here's the issue, guys. Here's the issue. If you are married and you are a social media personality, do everything within your power to safeguard your spouse. Again, let me say, because some of you you're gonna go off tangent. You're going to start saying, but when nobody's perfect, we're all imperfect. We know that. We're not talking about perfection. We're talking about the protection of your home and your spouse. Don't sit there and make a mockery out of your wife. And I said it today, and I'll say it again. Tayali gets away with what he gets away with because he's married to an Ethiopian woman. If Tayali was married to a Bemba chick, a Lozi chick, and a Lubale chick, a Zambian chick, black Zambian, that marriage would have been over in 3.5 days. But she's had to endure. Why? Because she's Ethiopian. She doesn't know our culture. She knows him, but she doesn't know our culture. She doesn't know our language. Poor kid can't even speak the language. That girl was a prisoner in that home because she couldn't speak the language. She didn't know anything. She was completely cut off from the rest of the world. Homegirl couldn't even get a job outside the home. Why? Because he shielded her. And that's the reason he can talk about his wife the way he's doing it. Now, I know this is very uncomfortable for some of you, but I'm telling you, I'm bringing it real today. I'm throwing down today. Let me tell you now. No, we're not pulling any punches. So he needs somebody to shake him into reality. That's what he needs. And the only person that he will pay attention, he's not going to listen to you. Why would he listen to you? You tell me, why would Chilufya Tayali listen to you? Who are you? You're not a vlogger. You're not a social media personality. You don't have a following. You don't have a social media presence. You have nothing. So why would he listen to you? But he will listen to me. You know why? Because I'm a vlogger. I'm a social media personality, just like him. I've got a following, just like him. So I understand him better than you. Because, some of you get on your high horse. No, leave him alone. You don't know him. You've never even met him. A up to Z. So don't sit there with your self-righteous attitude and say, no, leave your friend alone. It's got nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with taking responsibility. And I know he's listening. Just like I watch him, he watches me. So, if you say leka. Number, the problem with abantu abaparantayari, tabonfwa in the sense that his response, his retort will be, this is my home. You can't tell me what to do in my home. Well, as long as you make it public, of course I can. If you make public foolish announcements, of course we're going to get involved. So here's my admonition. Stop embarrassing your wife. She's your wife. She doesn't belong to us. She belongs to you. And let me say, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about Tayali. The only saving grace that guy has is his wife. If you remove his wife from his equation, Tayali is lost. He becomes a child lost in the wilderness. He becomes vulnerable prey because everything about him is embedded, is entrenched in the facade of his marriage and his wife. So you take away his wife, you take away the shine. If you take away Tayali's wife, you take away the glitter. Tayali just becomes another Tayali. But with Sega in that, you see, this is the power of a woman. I wish you guys would get this. The power of a woman, and not just a woman, a good woman. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Umwana kashuwa chinda mawa ichindika uri umwana udia wa ku Ethiopia ari ichindika uri omuntu udia. When you bring her in this arrangement, all of a sudden Tayali becomes a man. Mwamchindika no kumchindika. No, but because of his foolishness, his rampant foolishness, afyonaula. He messed up a perfectly good thing. Messed up a perfectly good thing. Idiot. Sorry, I had to say that. All righty. Lastly, let me talk about Millie. Millie, bless her. Millie's all over the show. Bless her heart. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. First of all, she ran off with this new religion. Oh. And then right before, and again, guys, I have to constantly remind you, because there's some of you that are jumping on now, but those are your friends' marriages. They're not their marriages because they're public. Are you hearing that? Anything they make public is fair game for us to comment on. So get off of that high horse. So anyway, Millie, she's all over the show, bless her. And then, first of all, she makes her initial departure from the home. She makes that very public. She comes on social media. She says, I'm done with this guy. He can go. And she starts singing a song with her friend, mocking Mr. Mulwanda, saying, yeah, Kabie, I don't even need you. All done on social media. Again, it would be different if it was all done privately. But the moment you start posting videos of you saying, no, I don't care, it becomes fair game for everyone to comment, including myself. So here it is. He goes off, and then Mulwanda nabo bachitari taught. Just do what you want with them. It was a back and forth. So finally, they get back together again. And then Millie, a few days ago, posts and says, I want a sugar daddy. Again, disrespect for your spouse. But then don't do that. Don't do it. if you want, but in the papa, I'm telling you, I get shocked. Musalula. Pa social media. There's no respect there. Is it a wonder? Is it a wonder that our homes are under siege? Is it a wonder that the Zambian institution of marriage is under siege? Is it a wonder? Is it a wonder that people no longer have the idea of commitment? Is it a wonder that at the drop of a hat, people will say, if you're just rubbish, kabie, urichinangwa. Is it a wonder? It's because we allow these social media influencers to perpetuate and to fortify the narrative. Millie should not be doing that. Especially you chaps who have just recently you've gotten married. But be careful with social media. Don't social media. Don't do that. Leave them out of that. Don't do that. I mean, marriage without social media is tough enough. Marriage, let me say it again. Marriage, even without social media, is tough enough. But social media, whether you can't survive. It's a jungle. All right. All righty. Guys, thank you so much. This is Flavia. Flavia says, you're talking sense, Mr. Moore. Tell them, thank you. Chachine. Kali imumari batumpika ba ichaba. Mwira batumpika ba ma social media influencers. Don't tumpika them. Tell them. You can't act like that. You can't. Ushido. Yeah. All right, 27 minutes I've been speaking. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.